Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to your national conference. For those few of you that I get to meet, I'm Philip Hygate, and I have the great privilege of chairing the National Association. It's your association. I, my directors and staff, exist to celebrate and advocate your work, and it's important over the next 3 days that you give us your views, your hopes, your fears. We are here to listen. It is absolutely your association. I already sense we're slightly more animated already this year. Could be a number of reasons for that, but I think a principal one of them is that last year there was a real fear of significant national budget reduction, certainly for England and Wales. That fear went to the extent that some members of the family, some AONBs, might not have been able to exist in any recognisable form. It didn't happen. The settlement in England, in the context of very significant public sector cuts, is remarkable. Protection for 4 years in the current climate is an absolute attestation of your work. Similar negotiations are looking very promising in Wales. So it's about your work, it's about the significance of your work, it's about the quality of your work, and I think above all it's about the potential of your work. Government, certainly in DEFRA, saw their decision as an investment. And I'll return to that potential in a moment. And all of this is a benchmark, and whatever the slight political uncertainties that we're experiencing at the moment will pan out to be, that benchmark will be held to by your association with whoever is in government, whoever is the minister. It is a very important asset for you to move forward from. Potential. There are so many rich and vibrant aspects of protected landscape. And one that I think we have barely touched on is our possible contribution to the health and well-being of society. You wouldn't be here, any of you, if you didn't feel better, healthier for a walk in fine landscape. You'd be doing something else. I'm going to give you some frightening figures, and I've chosen statistics at the lower end of a spectrum. I could have found even more frightening figures, but they're frightening enough for me. 50% of women do not do even the most basic exercise to live a healthy life. 50% of them. 38% of men, likewise, do not do even the most basic exercise to keep a healthy lifestyle. They're bad figures. But there's much worse. 75% of girls under 18 and 68% of boys under 18 do not complete even the most basic required exercises for healthy life and development. They are shortening their lives. The cost of those figures to the national budgets is £74.4 billion a year. It's a breathtaking figure. There's worse still. That's about physical things. That's obesity and diabetes. On top of that, there are massive figures around the amounts, the ever-increasing amounts of stress-related illness and depression. We're living in unhealthy times. It shouldn't be that international drug companies get ever more money for antidepressant tablets. There are better ways of dealing with this horrendous challenge. Natural beauty, we know instinctively, and we have increasing credible evidence, has a great part to play in meeting that challenge. It's a challenge that can be distilled down to money. Billions and billions of pounds can be better used. But actually it's a moral challenge. We can't happily live in an ever-dividing nation of health. We know that protected landscapes, natural beauty, can and I think will make a profound difference to that challenge. And that is within our theme of learning and sharing and inspiring, the theme of our conference. We're going to hear from people who've got some specific insights into those challenges and share our own understanding of how within our own family, within our own areas, we can make a difference. I hope that before next conference, in collaboration with National Parks England, to go to the Department of Health and make a firm proposition for some pilot work that will turn that feeling into absolutely rock solid evidence, and that we can play a really meaningful and morally good part in those challenges. When I learned that we were meeting here in this wonderful setting, the extreme irony was not lost on me. I don't know how much you know about this place. It was once one of 5 great estates owned by the Leveson-Gower family, better known as the Dukes of Sutherland. Through much of the 19th century, they were the richest family in Europe, the biggest landowners in Western Europe. This was a hunting lodge, a weekend hunting lodge, believe it or not. A lot of their 2.5 million acres of estates, 5 great estates, came from enclosure, from common lands taken into their ownership. At their Scottish estates, Dunrobin, which you may well have heard of, biggest estate in Scotland, 1.3 million acres. In the Scottish clearances, they removed 5,000 families in 1 year from that estate. 5,000 families. So this place, 150 years ago, was about exclusion. It was about keeping people out, but the very few. So it's a supreme irony to me that for the next 3 days, it's actually all going to be talking about inclusion, bringing people back into harmony with our landscapes. So I hope before we finish, we hear the 3rd Duke of Sutherland spinning in his grave. Ladies and gentlemen, I always value these conferences, and I know you do. Let's have a vibrant discussion and enjoy yourselves.